Is it me or does Governor Cuomo, the Italian reptilian inside, look like Mama Fratelli from the Goonies and the Thing had a baby? Can I get a holla for I miss Dude Old Dad Nation long time. The best is yet to come. Let's unleash the fury. We got Obama be meh coming up. You're welcome. Holla. Thank you very much. So I am going to read to you now a piece that received a measured love from conservative media, such as the American Thinker and some other publications. I have no idea if you read them or not, but the American Thinker is definitely worth getting into. The other piece being Ronald Reagan's favorite magazine that actually inspired him to become a conservative, and that magazine being called Human Events. I always pause to come up with that name because it's very ordinary, and I feel like I'm doing Mad Libs all of a sudden when I have to explain to my kids. A noun is a person, a place, or a thing. Stop being a fake news genius. So, but before I get into Obama be meh, in honor of Halloween, I'm going to read you a flash fiction story that I think you're all going to love, called The Hop Farm Footsie Scare of 1859. Although, just to reminisce a little bit, last year, pre-corona, I told my wife that I had no interest in indulging and entertaining trick-or-treaters that came to our house. So I gave my wife the idea of hanging up a bunch of ISIS flags outside our house to scare away any potential trick-or-treaters. But President Trump had eliminated ISIS at that point, so that joke no longer works and is beginning to sound very outdated. And for the record, ISIS recruiters are overrated. All they do is target other lonely virgins on WhatsApp and on Facebook who wish their phones blew up. Can I get a holla for A plus Gemry? You're not going to hear it. Bill Maher, whose production company is called Kid Love Productions, but I'm sure that doesn't mean anything. Holla. Thank you very much. And if Michael Jackson were alive today, Monique, how exactly would he defend himself against his Neverland accusers? What would his defense be? All the Beatles royalty points in the world can't buy me love. So this is piece, again, it's called The Hop Farm Footsie Scare of 1859. But if my kids were to go trick-or-treating this year, I like the idea of them just wearing QAnon like hats with like the Q, just so some uptight resistor douchebag in Katona could say, I don't get it. I don't get it. What's the Q? What's the Q? And I'll just tell them, my kids are old school Q-Tip fans from Tribe Called Quest. Actually, they're President Trump fans. We just didn't want Antifa to yell Allah Akbar and decapitate my children during Halloween. So we figured we'd be a little bit sly about it and wear the Q hats instead. And yes, President Trump is anti-pedophiles and sex trafficking. So if you're against the wall, then you're pro-pedophilia and you're pro-sex trafficking. And you are an evil, awful human being. That's a fake news, moralist projector of the most deplorable order. Let me guess, you want to ban ICE too, because Homeland Security was so weapons of mass destruction years. So here we go. The Hop Farm Footsie Scare of 1859. Once upon a time, there was a family man, hop farmer, who gave the best foot massage in upstate New York, like his father before him, named Farmer Todd. He sang for his local church choir, sounding like Neil Young and Al Green had a baby, who refused to sell his hops to West Coast breweries, preferring to make IPAs from his own locally sourced hops because of upstate New Yorker farmer pride. Represent, represent, represent. Farmer Todd always told his 5 sons, the way to unlock the gene glow in a gal is to rub her feet like a magical genie lamp, which is the most direct passageway to her heart. Filled embrace of your slowed down metabolism and all your warts inside and out too. Farmer Todd, like Ben Franklin, believed good people drank good beer, so he dedicated every day of his life to making the finest IPA beer. Because just growing hops to sell them like another one-dimensional hop peddler pusher man with nothing else to sell was boring and not a family business he could bequeath his 5 gorgeous, hardworking, ultra-chiseled sons with as much innovative pride. Farmer Todd would always joke around with his kids saying, I wish they could make a toothpaste that tastes like Coors Light so I don't taste anything afterwards. So I'm going to take a break from the story. I'm not really feeling the passionate urge to share it with you. And what I really wanted to share with you was Obama be meh. Because moving forward, I don't plan on doing any more political material on this podcast, especially after President Trump wins by a patriot man-made landslide. Because this Trump train is bound for glory. You don't think so? Have you seen the pictures of President Trump's rallies compared to Biden this week? Hair sniffer Biden. Biden can't fill a clamshell. So here we go. Obama be meh. Eddie Van Halen dies, and David Crosby, in his most understated Garfield ballooning in the yard, yawningly boring way, while still pining for the days when Hendrix used to blow his mind so hard, tweets, meh, because baby boomer arrogance never dies, and David Crosby is the lamest, least rocking, most overrated fake news hippie of the pack. The most annoyingly annoying problem with balding, ponytailed fake news hippies like David Crosby and George Carlin, who viewed Tsunamis on CNN as must-see entertainment towards the end of his illustrious stand-up comedy career against his dying of the light, is their perpetual bitchy, dissing disposition, as if they were the Vietnam vets who got spit on Main Street back home, or happen to be the starving, no-name, burnout casualties of the acid rock era in the 60s, who were reduced to eating stray cats to stay alive throughout the acid-crazed streets of San Francisco. Plus, how can any member of Gen X not be enraged by the glaring, nonstop crosstown traffic hypocrisy exhibited by fake news hippies ad nauseum, by wholeheartedly endorsing the endlessly divisive, on-air drivel out of NPR, whenever another zero gravitas exuding political pundit questions the mental health of President Trump compared to the nonstop jilted hysteria of Nancy Denture Beth Pelosi, who thinks she's the one glowing with a divine blessed spark of divinity as she tears up the president's State of the Union speech on live TV, looking like the tweaked out granny from Requiem for a Dream in Armani. My parents are guilty of being fake news hippies too, for living in Scottsdale, Arizona for the past 9 years and not once visiting the Grand Canyon, which doesn't require a hit of acid to invoke the haunting presence of an older-than-earth god, man. You also know you're a fake news hippie when you call the president an idiot, like David Crosby did, when you're the one who became a white privilege, freebase, junkie, alcoholic wacko who makes Hunter Biden look like a serial underachiever in comparison. My younger brother included. President Trump is smart enough to not suck off Obama be meh till his last dying breath, knowing his predecessor's major foreign policy accomplishment was rebranding ISIS ISIL so they'd sound more startup friendly in the New York Times. This is my impersonation of President Trump debating Greta Thunberg on the threat of climate change being a more imminent disaster in the making than Obama be meh, gifting Iran $150 billion to finance more worldwide terror on par with the making of the second Death Star and The Empire Strikes Back. President Trump says, Greta, fracking reduces our CO2 emissions. Greta freaks out immediately and says, so Neil Young is full of shit now? President Trump says Neil Young doesn't believe in taking showers to reduce his carbon footprint. So that much you share in common, babe. Also, you're a fake news hippie if you grew up in the age of free love before magic made HIV disappear and have the goal to judge your former bandmate Neil Young for leaving his wife of 35 years to date Daryl Hannah because he's going through a post-midlife, never banged a mermaid crisis. In the new Cameron Crowe doc about David Crosby, Remember My Name, you learn that one of his former bandmates from Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young have anything to do with him now because of his tendency to belittle his former brothers in arms, who helped bless him with the most high-end hippiedom lifestyle imaginable before going to jail and almost squandering it all to freebase more cocaine. And I thought Hunter Biden was a spoiled, ungrateful degenerate who got paid 50 grand a month by an energy company in the Ukraine he thought was selling borscht as a new kombucha. President Trump is the most anti-war president of all time. Best friend Israel never had, who hasn't got us involved in any military entanglements or wars under his watch, unlike Nixon or W. So drop some more CBD, overrated, fake news, hippie boomers who are the laziest grandparent generation of all time. Lifting a finger for you guys is liking a new picture on Facebook. President Trump has authorized his Orthodox Jewish son-in-law Jared Kushner, I know, total Nazi, to normalize relations between Israel and various Arab neighbors like the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain, and less time it takes Jared Kushner to burst with joy with Ivanka talking dirty to him in Mandarin again. So President Trump actually deserves the Nobel Peace Prize compared to fake news hippie like Obama Be Good, who just nuke-gifted Iran, let ISIS run wild, and weaponize our intelligence agencies by getting them to spy on the Trump campaign illegally through the ridiculous granting of FISA warrants to do so based on a paid-for planted story from the DNC about Russian collusion with less legs than Lieutenant Dan. Plus, you're also a fake news hippie if you condemn the Kent State shootings in a song, but not the shooting of a peaceful Trump supporter by a member of Antifa in Portlandia during the past Summer of Love. Last, President Trump has never done a bump of coke or had a drink of alcohol in his life, so let's stop acting like overrated fake news hippies like David Crosby are such alleged stable geniuses in comparison for acting like his life is flush with one smart decision after another. And if Obama was blessed with such a beautiful, all-knowing mind, then why did he let his daughter Malaya intern for Miramax exactly? Imagine that conversation during Thanksgiving this year. Obama says, Malaya, what's wrong? You barely touched your tofurkey. Malaya says, all my woke friends at Harvard don't know why you let me intern for Harvey Weinstein at Miramax, Dad. Obama says, quit bugging, Malaya. Michelle was your chaperone on the set of Girls, and that fat Jew couldn't pin down Michelle if he tried. But I still don't know what Hillary was thinking hiring Lena Dunham as her social media community manager. Only Lena Dunham can make Hillary less likable and relatable in one blubbery swoop. This is the Do It All Dad Year podcast. Dad-friendly entertainment for you and me. What Gen X dads understand. Controlling our kids' economy can make our kids great again. My 3 fuss-free kids, 98% of the time, are living proof of it. Resist This, a pre-election 2.5-hour monster comedy special, now available on Kobo. For all you long-time, new-time fans, just to prove I'm not a greedy heeb over here. Not that I care about your opinion, Babyface Omar. Use the code RESIST. All you have to do is download Resist This onto your smartphone, and you'll start laughing long time. Promo code will ensure you don't spend a penny. All I ask is that you write emotive reviews in my honor and do your best to keep freedom of speech alive, because Zitface Zuck at Facebook isn't going to do that, obviously. I'll talk to you guys soon.